G'day, legends. It is that time again. It is time for a beer with Boges. Grab your beer, like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. In a beer with Boges, we talk about what has happened in crypto for the last week or so and what we think might happen. Of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm just some guy on the internet. All right, got my Coinbase hat on. I told them I'd wear it if they gave it to me at the Australian CryptoCon. This video will be shorter than normal. My computer tower is not working again. And if you're one of those people that watched the last time, yes, it is actually not working this time. It's not just the button on the back that's been flicked. I have flicked it multiple times to check, so I'm not being an idiot this time. Yes. So we won't have any of the on-screen stuff this week. So this will be a Beer with Boges mini. It will probably go for maybe 8 minutes. So it'll be a little bit shorter because I won't be able to show you stuff on screen. But I'll do what I can, and we'll just enjoy a beer anyway. All right, I've got my trusty clipboard, but I've also got my laptop today, obviously, because I don't have my computer working. All right, so the news for the last couple of weeks. All right, so Bitcoin's price right now is at $91,178.85. That is in US dollars, of course. We always talk US dollars because, well, that's what it's measured in mainly. In Australian, it's about 139,000 for a Bitcoin right now. All right, so Bitcoin and Ethereum, a tentative rebound under pressure. After steep losses, Bitcoin and Ethereum saw modest rebounds this week as the markets tried to stabilize. So this is the first decent sort of bounce we've had since coming down, realistically, in my opinion. We're still dragging in sentiment. Some analysts suggest it may drop, maybe a liquidity-driven correction, not a full bear cycle, which I agree with. I do not believe that the cycle is the same. Personal opinion, I can be wrong. So, do your own research, of course. Yes, all right, moving on to the next part. Institutional outflows and ETF pressure. November has seen heavy outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs, a sign that many institutional investors are stepping back and volatility and regulatory uncertainty are about. That said, with Bitcoin and Ethereum rebounding slightly, there's some cautious optimism for stabilization if broader economic conditions improve. What does that mean? It means basically I am waiting for so December 1st, US time, so it's probably our Tuesday in Australia. We're looking to see what happens when quantitative tightening officially ends. That does not mean quantitative easing has started yet, but it means at least that they're going to, the script will be flipped, as it were. I'm also waiting for the decision on the 9th, 10th of December for whether the rates will get cut in America, because that is something that will excite the markets at minimum. Whether it's a short-term excitement or whether we build up to it and then, we buy the rumor, sell the news, not sure yet. But I imagine we'll see the needle move in some form. There's also this big account that the Americans have, which is for your quantitative easing, as it were. It hasn't been touched. It's the Secretary General account or something like that. I will come back to us on the next one. I'll make sure I look up but it's got like $1 trillion in this account, and everyone thought that it wasn't getting spent because of the government shutdowns and that. And so since the government has opened back up over there, we've been, it was expected that we would now start to see that money get spent, and it has not been spent. So theories on that are, and theories that I had already been working on myself, but I saw some other people come out and I went, you know what? Perfect. You're agreeing with my thoughts, which is scary. We don't always want people to agree with us. I quite often look for opposing opinions when I'm researching things and go, what does the other side say? But the theory is that Trump, although he talks a big game about how well the economy is doing, is really actually trying to keep the economy nice and tight so that inflation doesn't rear too much until he needs to really inject that liquidity. When does he really need to inject liquidity? He needs to inject it so he can win the midterm elections. So in America, they have midterms. We don't have that here, so I'm not exactly sure how all that works. But basically, you can lose seats, lose some of your power. They have the majority right now, and it's very slight. So he needs to make sure he keeps that so that he doesn't have a heap of infighting when he wants to pass bills. So I imagine that big account with the $1 trillion plus in it gets emptied in a time in people's memories where, when they go to the voting booths at the half-term elections, that they go, hey, let's pick Trump again. He just paid us. He's promised to give out this $2,000 check to all Americans who earn under, I think it's $100,000. They're going to love that. It's a good move for that type of thing to get re-elected, because everyone's going to be, I got $2,000 for Trump. We'll vote for him again. So that money will then flow into the economy. When we had that around the 2019 crisis, the virus one, we had a massive big dump in crypto and all markets. But then a lot of that money flowed back into people who like investments. So there's a good. The other thing about liquidity, now I hear this all the time. Liquidity's running so. Another news article today is that silver made a new all-time high. I've got it here. I'll tell you. Silver, because it matters, and I don't just invest in crypto, even though my name's Crypto Bogan. We do invest in other things. Silver made a new all-time high in US dollars, $56.78 per ounce. Excuse me. And so people go, gold, silver, when they pull back, it'll flow into Bitcoin. Well, the chances are, no, it won't. The chances are you may get 10% of people's profits if it's a person that likes crypto and they like, precious metals. If it's the stock market, the people, there's a big pullback, it should flow into crypto. Well, that's not necessarily true. We may get a small portion of it flow into crypto, but just because there's a pullback in something else does not mean that the liquidity will come to us. We have to follow where the liquidity actually goes. So there's just something to think about, all right? Yes, I've talked about that. Fear and greed. The fear and greed for Bitcoin in the crypto markets is 28. So we've come out of extreme fear. We're now just in regular fear with a number of 28 out of 100. The RSI is 58.28, so just over 58, which means we're just over halfway on that line where I normally show you that's the one with the purple box. I'll go back to my notes because I think I've gone a bit off script today. It's what happens when you don't have everything right in front of you the way you want. All right. In a surprising shift, Turkmenistan passed a law to legalise and regulate crypto mining and exchanges. Effective from January the 1st, 2026, so next year. This shows crypto adoption and regulation continuing globally, just not in major markets. Meanwhile, a coalition of major global stock exchanges warned that the US SEC, the Security Exchange and Commission, against granting special exemptions to crypto firms offering tokenized stocks, arguing this could erode investor protection. So this is the real-world assets part. Basically, the stock exchanges around the world are trying to not let it be tokenized. What's this? Oh, there was a hack. There was a hack of Upbit, a major cryptocurrency exchange in South Korea. It continues to stir concern about security risks in hot wallets and exchange infrastructure. If you do not know about cold wallet storage, look into it. I will do a video on it soon. I have lots of videos to do after going to the Australian Crypto Convention. As you can imagine, I've put out little shorts and snippets of the fun I had, but I've recorded at least 2 of the lectures that I think one of them's relevant to new people, which was part of what I wanted to film it for. And the other one I just filmed it because I found it very interesting. Yeah. So that'll do us for today. I know it's been a short one. I know you haven't had all your screens and fun that you usually get to looking at the computer and seeing whether I've actually recorded it correctly. But that's all I can do for today. I will take this computer in tomorrow and get it fixed, and hopefully it's nothing serious and we can be back on board. Not sure whether it'll be next week, and next week might be another one of these. I will be away for work, so it may just be a short one like this next week. So cheers, have a good one. Do something nice for someone else. Crypto Bogan out.